Welcome to Fireside Chats with Brad. In this unique situation that we're living through with COVID-19 and shutdowns, I wanted to offer some conversations to inspire you, uplift you, and help you navigate these times. Millions of people's lives have been changed. And just a couple of days ago, when I talked with Jonathan Carone, we talked about what it was looked like to work at home for millions of people who had never done that. And he gave us several tips. Well, today we're going to have another conversation that I think is going to be really helpful. And so if you're watching this video, I'd love for you to share it with your friends because we're going to talk today about what does it look like when everyone's at home to stay sane. What's it look like for those of you who are facing the prospect of home education for the first time to not be overwhelmed and overly stressed with that? Again, for many of us, the idea of home education is new, might be a little bit scary, but for others, this is every single week, and they have a lot to teach us and help us along the way. So with that in mind, I'm excited to welcome my good friend, Emily Greer. Emily is a mom, a wife, a businesswoman, and she does stay-at-home education, and I marvel at her all the time. I have no idea how she does it all. But she is going to give us some tips today. So Emily, welcome to Fireside Chats.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
Emily, for those of you who out there watching who don't know you, why don't you take just a second and introduce us to yourself? Tell us a little bit about you, your family, what you do, and how this is maybe affecting your family.
Sure. Well, I'm Emily and I'm married to Dave. We've been married about 13 years. We have 3 boys, 9, 7, and 3, and we do homeschool them, which is a lot of fun and kind of crazy. And I love being outside. We love to travel. We love to go hiking and bicycling together. We love playing games and spending time with our friends. And we love reading and snuggle time on the couch. So lots of family time. We just love it.
Awesome. Well, Emily, as you know, everyone's wired uniquely. Everyone has different passions, different personalities, and even different opportunities. For a lot of people watching this, man, I've already heard from many of them, you know, everyone's at home all the time. It's disrupted a normative rhythm, and that creates stress. It can create frustration. Siblings begin to fight. And then for those who have just never even done home education outside of maybe helping their kids with homework, the idea of being the point person to help their kids learn, stay on task. These are all brand new skills. And so we want to try to help people, you know, keep their sanity, make the most out of this time, because this is a unique time. We can choose to see it as an obstacle and as something that's a challenge that's going to overwhelm us, or we can see it as a unique opportunity and lean into it. So thanks so much for helping us to think about how to best use this time. You know, if you had some best practices, if you've got some wisdom, what would you say to maybe parents who are facing this for the very first time? What would be some of your tips, some of your wisdom that you would pass on from what you guys have learned over the last several years of doing this on a regular basis?
Sure. Well, first of all, I totally understand the craziness that is going on. Even though we homeschool and I work from home, we normally are out and about every single day. So it has greatly affected us as well. And we really miss our friends. We really miss, we go to a co-op once a week. We miss all the people we get to interact with there. All of our extracurricular activities are shut down, and so we miss all of that, and I totally understand that. And I remember, too, when we first started homeschooling in general, 4 years ago, that was overwhelming because there is this sense of, like, such a great responsibility on your shoulders to provide an excellent education. And also, there are so many options out there for homeschooling, and that can be overwhelming in itself. But I truly hope that you all, when you look back at this time, that you are thankful for this season, this extra time you have with your kids. And I hope that it is a gift for your family. So I do have some tips that we've learned over the last few years. We are definitely not perfect in how we homeschool in any way, but we do love it and are very grateful for it. So first of all, just starting your day right. I can totally tell a difference on those days when I sleep in until the kids wake me up and when I get up early and start my day before the kids wake up, start my day in prayer. Every day when I wake up, my prayer is wisdom and vision. Pray for God's wisdom and how you teach your kids. Pray for his vision for how you homeschool, for how you spend your time. And with your business too, if you're working at home, I pray those same things for my business. Maybe spend time getting a little bit of exercise in. I know mornings like today, it was raining and it was cold and I just wanted to stay in bed. But I knew that if I got up and did some exercise, I would feel so much better. And it's true, after just like 20 minutes, I felt so much more alert and awake and ready for my day. So, and then, yes, one of the perks of homeschooling is that you can have pajama days all day sometimes, and we do that. But if you will get showered, get dressed, put some makeup on, you really will be more productive and more focused in your day. So getting your day started right creates such a huge difference.
I love that. One of the things that you're kind of describing is creating rhythms that are manageable, that are healthy. And I think that's one of the things that maybe is just we take for granted, that rhythms and routines actually create a sense of predictability that's good for us. Spontaneity is, fun and all the rage in a movie or a TV show, but in everyday life, some sort of predictable routine creates security. It creates predictability. And particularly if you've got young kids at home, it will create structure that's actually beneficial for them. And it'll help not only their mental and emotional state, but it's going to help yours as well. And I also love how, for those who are followers of Jesus, just like, we're going to orient our day with God first, because the success of this day is not going to be on my back, but it's going to be with my Heavenly Father helping me along the way. And starting there is the right starting place. Because if you get started right, the percentages that you can finish right are much higher than when you get started wrong. I love that first tip. Start the day off right. So people find out what it looks like for you to get a routine, a rhythm to get started, get your day started off in a good footing. All right, so let's move to number 2. What's number 2 on your list?
Yeah, so that flows into number 2. Make fine, don't time fine. Make time, don't find time. So if you just go throughout your week hoping that you will have find time to get everything done, you'll get to the end of the week and just wonder, where did all the time go? Life happens and it's crazy, and you'll end up thinking, I didn't get as much work done, or I didn't get as much school done as I had hoped. So it's really helpful to schedule some sort of routine. Now, I've seen a lot of these posts on social media like, COVID homeschool schedule, 8 o'clock do this, 8:30 do this, 9 o'clock do this. And having a super rigid schedule like that can be stressful and cause anxiety. So we try to have more of a routine and not a schedule, if that makes sense. So my kids know like about an average start time. We like to have slow, relaxing mornings. We may wake up and read on the couch together for a little bit and then eat breakfast, or we'll wake up and play some games and then eat breakfast and then kind of move into a school routine. But we know the things that need to get done, but it doesn't always have to happen in a specific order. So I just want to encourage families to not feel pressure to try to recreate the classroom at home. Your kids do not need to be sitting at a desk for several hours a day. In fact, Tennessee state law for homeschool requires 4 hours a day of education. And that doesn't even mean 4 hours of sitting at a desk. Like, we like to move around. If you follow us on social media, you'll see that we may be, like I said, reading on the couch for a while, and then you'll see us sitting at the kitchen table doing some handwriting, and then you'll see us go outside and we'll do spelling outside while they're swinging or using chalk on the driveway. So don't feel like you have to recreate the classroom at home. That took off so much pressure off of my shoulders when we first began.
Yeah, that really reminds me of what Jonathan was saying about those working from home.
Mhm.
That when you're in an office space, there are built-in distractions that, maybe limit your productivity. Well, when you're doing, schoolwork at home and you don't have, to pause to help 5 other students and send people to um, down the hallway, you can actually accomplish more in a little less time. And I love what you're saying too about it's here's kind of the word I was thinking. It's not a word, it's a phrase: structured flexibility. So if you're
Mhm.
too rigid, that creates a level of stress. And so
Yes.
how do we remove stress? How do we remove pressure? Well, if you have no schedule, that's going to create stress. If you have
Right.
too much schedule and too much structure, that's going to. So flexible, create a plan,
Mhm.
block off some time, but give yourself some breathing room to be adaptable. So I love that.
Definitely. And I asked my kids what are some of their tips that they would want me to share with all of these families. And one of the things they shared was be sure to take breaks. So we will do like 15, 20 minutes and then take a break and play for a little while. And then we'll come back and do a little more. Also, include time to be active. So whether they're jumping on the trampoline or just playing wrestling in the living room, which happens all the time, if they have that time to be active, then when we come back to do school time, they can be more focused. So taking breaks is really important. They also said to work hard and focus so you've got plenty of time to play after school. So like you said, we can get out a lot done in a shorter amount of time, and that gives them more time to play. So they love that. Also, with working at home and school, it's really helpful to write down a schedule so that everyone in your family is on the same page. They know kind of what to expect, and you can be present with school when you're doing school stuff. You can be present with work when you're doing work stuff. And if you write it down on a calendar and treat it as if it's a doctor appointment that you don't want to miss, you'll be more likely to stay with that flow. I think it's also really important to schedule and make time for family time. So whether it's family game nights one night or every night of the week now, maybe, or maybe even like trying to schedule some creative at-home date nights after the kids go to bed. My boys love doing date nights with mama. And so even just trying to schedule in that one-on-one time with them is so important. They just soak that in and they thrive, and they just love having that one-on-one attention. And so whether it's reading together or playing a game together or drawing together, try to schedule in some one-on-one time with your kids. And then last, be sure to make time for rest, especially in this season, but always make rest a priority because you can get burnout and drained so easily. So I actually have an alarm on my phone to make sure I go to bed because otherwise I'll stay up all night.
That's good. John Piper is an author and pastor. He says one of the most underrated weapons against fighting the flesh and sin is sleep. That when we
Mhm.
when we don't have adequate sleep or also exercise, which we'll talk about here in a little bit, it weakens our ability to actually fight the things that we don't want to experience. So that's really good.
Absolutely.
All right, let's talk about number 3.
So number 3 is to remove or limit distractions. And part of that can be with your scheduling, like I said, being present at work time, and then being present with your kids when you're doing school. So when I'm doing school with my kids, I'll put my phone in a different room so I don't have those distractions of like, oh, I need to respond to this one message or look at this one notification. Um, and with the scheduling too, if you are working at home, all of a sudden, know that school can start in the evening.
Hmm.
If you have to work during the day, school can start at 4 p.m. You can do a couple hours and then take a break for dinner and then read before bedtime. And so
That's
that way
good.
you can be present wherever you are. Just do what works for your family. Don't worry about what other families are doing or what's working for other families. Do what works for your family, and maybe find a place in your house that your kids can be more focused so they don't have other distractions going on. Maybe ask your kids to help each other. So, for example, if I am working with one of my sons on something that they need my focus and my attention, I'll have the other two boys go play together in a different room. and then we'll kind of rotate. So I'll work with the oldest, and the younger two will play together. And then I'll say, okay, you're done. Go tell your brother it's his turn, and he'll come work with me while the other two play together. And so that helps to limit distractions in the certain subjects that you might need to have more undivided attention.
Yeah, that's really good. Really good. All right, let's talk about number 4.
Okay, number 4, focus on what is important. And I just hope that you guys will give yourself so much grace. Remember that the goal for this season is not to create the most brilliant child in all the world, right? You
Yes.
don't have to do everything. And I feel like so many times we put expectations on ourselves that are higher than anyone else would give us. So lower your expectations maybe. No one is going to judge you for how you are schooling your kids right now, and just don't feel like you have to do it all. I've seen so many really great lists of helpful resources that are free for families right now. But even as a homeschool mom, I'm looking through these and I'm like
Yeah.
overwhelmed at all. Like, thank you for all the free options, but wow, don't try to do all of them.
Yeah, I saw one the other day. It was like 10 steps to da 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 da. And after I got to the 3rd step, I was overwhelmed. I'm like, I'm not sure I can even execute this. Like, this is, you can't live in, if for those of you who are familiar with the Enneagram, if you're a type 1 or if you're a type A personality and like perfection and nailing it, like this is not the season. You're going to have to like conscientiously say, in this COVID-19 reality, a C- is a really good grade. And so like I love what you're saying. Lower the expectations. Perfection is not the goal. Shauna Nyquist wrote a really good book, and the title is so appropriate for this day and age: Presence over Perfection.
Absolutely.
That's our goal.
Yes. And my kids even know, outside of this season, just in normal homeschooling seasons, I will pause what we're learning at times and say, let's talk about your heart right now. Like, my concern for your heart is so much more than my concern for how well you know how to spell this word or do this math problem. And so in this season, yes, you are going to be educating your children, but more than that, you have an opportunity to be investing in their hearts. And so think about, what is your goal for this season, and focus on what is important. It's your kids' hearts. It's not necessarily figuring out this one math problem, but it's how are they going to look back on this season, depending on your kid's age, but most of them will probably remember this. Like, remember that time when we were forced to homeschool? How do you want them to look back on this season? Do you want them to look back and be thankful for the time that they had with you? Or none of us want them to look back and be like, oh, that was so stressful. So just think about your goal for the season. Think about how this is such a gift that you get to invest in their hearts. And definitely don't stress about being perfect. One thing that's really helpful is to make a list of the 3 most important things for your day. So whether it's for school or even with my business working at home, when you wake up in the morning, those are the 3 main things you need to do. Check off those 3 things, and then you can celebrate. You can feel like you've accomplished something. And if you get more things done, that's great. But if you get those 3 things done, you've accomplished your goal for the day. And it's okay if taking a shower is one of those 3 things.
Since we're going to spend a lot of time in proximity, let's make everyone, include taking a shower, be one of the 3 most important things we do today.
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. All right, Emily, let's bring it home. What's your 5th and final tip for us?
Yeah, so the number 1 most important thing is remember what your kids need most, and that is you. They need your love, they need your steadiness, they need your presence, and just your investment in their life right now. So if that's all you get from this, is just make that time with your kids a priority. Be thankful for that time, and have fun. There's so much you can do outside of just, I guess, like typical school stuff that's learning. Like, think about baking together in the kitchen. You're going to be making so many great memories, and there's a lot they can learn with fractions and a lot of math that can be learned in the kitchen. Think about different games you can play. We love games. We play games all the time. And there's a lot of learning that can be done with games. So have fun in this season as you're educating your kids, and just let them have you. That's what they need. And don't be afraid to fail, because even when I fail, it's good for my kids to see that, because they can see me. I need to apologize and ask for forgiveness. They can
It's
see
true.
me learn from my failure and try to do something different and better. And so if something's not working, just try something else.
That's good. That's good. Emily, I think there's one more thing that's going to be really important in this time. As of today, gyms are shut down, and it's raining outside, so it's even hard to go for a jog. Exercise is such an important thing for people's spiritual, emotional, and physical health. You're involved in some online exercise experiences. Could you take just a minute to kind of put that as the capstone on this conversation? I love the 5 tips you've given us, but
Yeah,
and
definitely.
for
So I have,
parents, yeah, go ahead.
oh, sorry, the Zoom cut out for a second. So I have an online yoga ministry that is on Facebook. We meet together Monday, Wednesday, Friday in the mornings, but the videos are up after that forever. So you really could do it any time of the day. It's great for kids. Kids can learn a lot of focus and concentration. It can be very calming for kids. We focus a lot on deep breathing and stretching. It's beginner friendly, and so you don't have to have any previous yoga experience. And it's really for everyone. I have families that do it with their kids. I have grandparents that come and join us, men and women, and it's just a great way to start your day, moving, getting your blood pumping, getting that oxygen to your brain. It really does help with your emotion as well, just getting that exercise in the morning. Also, we focus on gratitude every day. And I think that's a great way to start your day. There's been a lot of research done on the science of gratitude, how when you practice gratitude, it can help you sleep better, it can help lower your blood pressure, all of these different things. But as we're dealing with uncertain times, gratitude, like setting your heart on gratitude, can help fight against anxiousness and feelings of stress. And so we always spend part of our morning in this yoga group focusing on gratitude. And then we do about 20 minutes of deep breathing and exercise. And then we spend a few minutes focusing on some scripture and talking about ways we can apply that and praying together. So it's a really great community. I would love for you all to join us if you're finding this new rhythm with gyms being closed and being at home. You can do it any time of the day, right from your laptop or your phone, and it's free.
Awesome. Emily, how can people who want to participate in that find that? Where's that at?
So if you just search on Facebook, yoga plus scripture plus community, and I can include a link when we post this video as well. And just click on that and ask to join the group. We'd love to have you.
Awesome. Emily, thanks so much for joining us today. Thanks for tips to help us to make the most out of this time, and for also offering the exercise gratitude scripture component. If people want to reach out to you, maybe they want some deeper tips and what you do, how could they find you and maybe get some answers to the questions they might have?
Yeah, I would love to follow up with any of you if you have more specific questions with homeschooling or anything we talked about today. So you can find me on Instagram at thriving.families and just reach out to me, and I'd be glad to chat with you.
Awesome. Emily, once again, thanks so much. Tell the kids and Dave I said hello. And until we
All
see you
right.
again, take care.
All right. Thank you. Bye.
Hey guys, thanks so much for joining us on Fireside Chats. We'll post some of those links in the Facebook feed here for you to follow up on. Also, this Wednesday, I hope you'll join me as I talk with Rick and Teresa Dunn. Marriage and relationships can be difficult, especially when you add the unique pressures that we're facing today. And they're going to talk to us about how to survive and thrive in marriage during hard times. So that's this Wednesday on Fireside Chats with Brad. Until then, take care.